So I was asleep, and then I remembered something really important. I'm living at, well, actually, I got all these people chasing me around. I got Russians chasing me around, Albanians, just some of everybody. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And the first sign to me, it was somebody looking for somebody that's following me, is I'm living in Kilbourne Commons, and they're having sex parties in there. Oh, same individuals. And I heard them talking about, it was Shanice Morton, and I'm saying, say it's apartment 307. That was my apartment with my daughters. And then, but they were in 306. They would go in apartment 309. And this is why I kept calling Yasim a terrorist, because I'm thinking it was apartment 309, which was next to mine's, or, and 205, which was below me. So a Russian guy is in the building, and I didn't even know he was in there. And so there was a heavyset guy in there who kept pretending to be the fat guy. They have a bad habit of taking people who look similar or alike to pretend they're them. So I hear some men in the hallway by my door, and I'm like, oh, hell no. So I opened my door up, and I could tell he was really not from here, because he really didn't say anything. He just kind of looked me in the face to identify me. He just threw his hands up like, I'm good. So I'm looking at him, I'm like, and I really did that, because I'm pregnant and I'm tired. And he looks in my face, and he looks at the guy, and like, slams the door. Not really hard, but I'm letting him know, go away. He didn't really say nothing. So the guy and him walks down the hall. I think it's apartment 316. From there, before and after that, it was some Pakistani guys chasing me everywhere. I had no clue who they were. So the Russian people was chasing them. And I know that was some type of law enforcement. That was not somebody looking to buy sex or anything. I could tell by his demeanor. I'm like, what is going on? So eventually I come to learn that the Pakistanis was the cab drivers that was down town with the technology, recording people, recording the hotels and the civic center that they just built. And they will also be at the Pfister. So one day, not too long before my car got took, I'm sitting in the bank, and one of them come along, and he's like looking at my phone, like, oh. I'm like, what the heck are they looking for? So I said, playing in my banking account right in his face, because I want him to see I don't have any money, because I figured that's what they was looking for. It was too many break-ins in my house. I'm like, this got to be about some money or something. So they kind of bagged off, but the Pakistanis picked it up. Oof, them cab drivers, which is direct link to that guy that beat us with the gun. Now, mind you, I'm out the hospital. I'm home now. By the time I leave, they chasing me everywhere. I drive to Illinois. Indiana, Michigan, and back. Then I end up in here. That's the first time. The Pakistanians really picked it up. I said, who are these people? They was chasing me down with their cabs and all that other stuff. So now I move into my house. They illegally take my car. Now I don't have a car, so I take the cab. Cab 96, yellow cab 96. He was really, really nice. So I said, do you get a discount if you just go where you need to go and you just pay a flat rate? He said it was. I had never used, I think, Uber or Lyft, so I didn't know to call them. So I'm paying all this money to use a cab. What was the last draw was I noticed he would wear sweats. And he took my damn picture. And then I started catching him parking by my house, just sitting there. I posted everything I could about him, everywhere. When I did that, I've learned that he owned the store near Yassine's store. And mind you, Yassine was in the building. Dr. Razak was hanging in the building. No lie. There was something downstairs. It was like 2 doors. Is it 1, 2, 3? It's 2 or 3 doors in the basement in the garage at Kilbourne Commons. One day they opened it and it led back somewhere you could see it. I said, what the hell is going on in here? Then Rosie tried to open it again because she seen me looking real crazy on the camera and it looked like it was just a storage room. I'm like, bullshit, that leads somewhere. Then I learned that one goes outside. Oh, and then there's a stairwell up. So I had to go back a little. I remember, and that was a head job too. I remember he was Jamaican, and somebody wanted to do me in. I had no clue why. I saw him before in the basement. He was just kind of looking. I didn't think that nothing was around Thanksgiving time. So I said, if I have some extra food, I'll give it to him. I'm thinking this to myself. So me and my son, Myron, was coming up with some groceries. And him and a lady just happened to pop up behind some cars. And he just kind of looked. And he just kind of paused like, I knew something was wrong, but I said, I'm going to keep it smooth booty until somebody pop off, because I didn't have no gun at this time. So, what made him back off is Dion and I are standing at the door. Dion came over that morning to see how I was doing. So I gave him a hug. I was like, how you doing? He was like, fine, Mom. And we were just doing small talk. He comes in. He asked Dion to let him in, and Dion wouldn't. Somebody else ended up walking out, and he got in. So he stood, and he just looked. It didn't matter who saw him. He was just looking like in disbelief at me and Dion. So I looked, and I'm talking to him. He realized Dion is my son. At this time, I still got Torrance Muhammad hiding in my closet. Not every day, but somebody kept going in my closet because I kept checking my underwear and all kinds of crazy stuff and stealing. So I'm like, what is going on in here? So he looks in disbelief. So he bags off. Doesn't ever bother me again. So, but they still are hanging around the building like, that I think one of them are the ones that dropped the tracker in my gas tank. I heard it fall. I got to go back a little. No, come forward a little bit. I am looking for Yassine because I'm trying to find out why is he in my Google account. So I randomly get pissed off because I see weird stuff and I go right back at Yassine. This particular time, I needed to get some gas. And he comes up to me, and no, people normally don't bother me, so he says, and he wasn't bothering me. He asked, could he pump my gas for me? I said, I said, sure. And I think I gave him $2 or $3. He pumps the gas, bloop, I hear it drop. I said, whatever that is, it's got to be a blessing. Pew! So they end up eventually taking the car. So, with that being said, let's fast forward. So by the time I make it to Summerfest, that is the photo in the Facebook account. They claim I posted something on there and I violated somebody's confidentiality, and I will reveal whose photo that was that she showed me in the email, and I knew it was all bull. I'm down at Summerfest and we leave. The cab driver is nearly trying to hit the car as I'm driving up Wisconsin. So I take a picture of the back of his cab. There is a difference between the yellow cabs in Homewood and the ones here in Milwaukee. You have the Africans and the mainly the Pakistanians. And when the cab driver went to call me, I called him to see if he was still coming. So if I had to make other arrangements, he accidentally texted back Dr. Khan's on-call number. I said, what the hell, Dr. Khan? Now, that's the guy that was having sex with Keywan in the bathroom at 8812 West Appleton Avenue. I said, oh, hell no. I said, he got to own his cab company. So, with that being said, and that's sex trafficking as well, I said, I'm going to have to stop dealing with this cab driver. So, long story short, they're harassing me. I leave. I make it. I take off. Really, I didn't have no destination. I put Chicago because I was going to go to Chicago. I figured that would be the closest way for me to come back and forth and figure out what's going on. Soon as I pull the U-Haul off the lot, they done oil my tires and these white guys is on me. I said, oh no. I said, I can't stay that close. Whoever's after me, I gotta go. So that's how I ended up in Alabama. Let me see, because this is so long. By the time I make it back, I'm being shuffled in the shelter system again, and it's the same Pakistanis, and I know it's something. I knew it was something. When I ended up at the Cathedral Center first, the Pakistanis started coming to the Cathedral Center, and they would pace around outside. And I'm like, who are these people? They would follow me to the market, and then the other Pakistanis came and started following them. And I could tell they was somebody, and they was looking for them. That's how I knew to start putting their pictures out on maps. Now I gotta bring it forward to when I got grabbed out my house. This is when the program got exposed, the CIA program, and that's the connection to Dr. Y. Her name is Cindy over at Chase Bank. That's why the Russians started following me, playing in my banking account, because she had knowledge of something, and that's where the Russian pharmacist, who I can't find, that I found and I posted, start looking for her. There's a program in which it got, it's with Pepsi Cola. It's how could I explain it so that the general public could understand? Because it's exposed. I heard the term, you better take the medicine or you better drink the cup or something. I don't know. And I said, well, what are they talking about? Q1 was talking about it. People was talking over my head about it. It's cyanide. It's a disposal system. Dr. Y, along with Dr. Razak, and physicians at Freighter use that method as a way to dispose of human beings and put them in a place called recycling, which really is not supposed to exist. This is just something they extended to say they washed a body. In Diana Ripple, every woman identified from the Women's Center, both places, infiltrated that. When they wanted to get rid of someone, it's actually murder by hospital, or they did an organ donation and they needed to dispose of the rest of the human body, they would take that body, dispose of it, use it as animal feed. That's where all this E. coli and all these other things that would affect animals and pass back on to the human race would get ill from, even plants, because they would use the bathroom on the plants, grass and stuff like that. So they had to run me through this whole thing so I could come back and identify them. Cindy, who identified, initially started playing in my banking account. These are the individuals over at Chase Bank on South 27th Street, along with the Pakistani. She offered me something to eat. It was a sandwich. That was tainted with cyanide or something. It was some type of poison. And they know it's me because the bread was, I believe, wheat. It had an oil base to it. And it was a turkey sandwich. I said, what the hell? I was like, oh, this is nasty. So they gave me a Pepsi. I'm going to say pressurized Pepsi. So now you know it's me. I said, oh, I don't like this. So go through the process. When I see Cindy at the bank, I'm ready to pop off because immediately they start playing in my banking account. From then on, they continue to play in my banking account. Trump, don't you got something to say to me? Oh, see, that's what President Trump is guilty of. And not wanting me to get any U.S. mail or passport. And here's why. Genocide. That's right. That's how my military records got hidden. I know somebody had access to them. On a computer, you probably can't find them. Hard copy, you probably can. And Arnold, don't you have something to say? In this process, I seen middle-aged black individuals. That's all I saw. And I believe that's all they wanted me to see, because I'm seeing stuff on the news that's just breaking my heart. I'm crying all over the place. I could not watch the news without crying. So, they bring me back. They bring me back home. I'm trying to get it together. Barada immediately go in. Boop, give me a fake eviction. Fight that. Gus gives me another one. They done stole some dope. This is what this is about. They stole the dope. And the research dope. Only somebody very, very, very high up would have known that was research dope on there, along with a shipment of dope. So, with that being said, I know a lot of people wanted to know, well, my Secret Service, what the hell is all these different people chasing me for? That's why it was genocide. And that's why they want Dr. Y. Um, a lot of people in the inner city knew about it because they started using them. The same bloodline that's a breeding ground for murder, kidnapping, rape. And that's what Morales is trying to hide. Because it's really not just black people. That's all I was allowed to see a certain age range without it affecting me emotionally, where I would just break. So that's what he's guilty of. There's a fake police squad. It's a police squad within the police department. That's where the uniforms, the badges, the equipment went. And they were doing kidnapping jobs. So thank God, Allah as well, that they happened to be, and it was the money team there when they came right in Family Dollar to grab me again. This guy was really just going to grab me by the arm and pull me out the store. He said, "You can't do that. You got to look around." I said, "Oh, hell no. There's too much stuff in here to allow them to grab me." I was going to get tased for sure. So that's what Trump kept coming here for, besides Foxconn. So they had to make it seem like it was everybody that came after me, and the Mohammeds. I said I was going to get their asses. They was going to pay dearly. So there was, or is maybe, a program in which Pepsi Cola participated in, and it was high up. And they exposed it in the hospital, Aurora, 12th Street and State. Offer you a Pepsi, pressurized, hit the top. At least I do anyway. And they exposed that to the hood level. And who's working in there? The ACOX. One of the guys walks up to me. He said, "What is that Mason mother doing in here? You got to get her out of here. She don't belong down here." That's the courthouse, I believe. And then there's something going on down there by the post office, by the railroad tracks. So, with that being said, Dr. Razak, Dr. Ayana Y, and I know some people were trying to put the pressure on me to talk. I can't talk about something I can't remember. So when the Pakistanians realized, oh, she's not remembering if you harassed her, Diane turned it up in team management along with Shorty Shooter Shop. Is it Shorty Shooter Shop? Yeah. The Women's Center. So that's what that's about. So when I tried to explain there will be death that comes upon these individuals, and you might see a whole family get carted off, that would be the dates, the Johnsons, the Harrises, the Holloways. Yeah, I got it right. Now, if you were not involved and I said your last name, don't come chasing me down, because that might include you at that point. And I kept trying to tell people, if you're not involved, do not get involved. Do not go off hearsay. Don't chase me because of what your cousin said. Do not chase me because of what your mama told you. Stay out of it. They didn't listen. You have the Common Council, who did this for years, playing with people's lives. It started with Lee Holloway. Label them, get rid of them. And Linda would get the bodies through the state office, unemployment. And it just spread it to MSOE, and I guess they decided, wait, before you just kill them off, let us play with them. I have seen some of the most horrific defects, and I'm like, that clearly is not genetics. That was somebody playing doctor and doing all kinds of stuff. if you look at surveillance of individuals on the transits, you see a lot of the people look docile, like they're not with it, aggressive, facial defects, physical defects, and I'm not talking about the ones that happen during the birthing process. It looked like somebody just went and did some weird stuff. I said, this needs to stop. And I believe 110% that is how Dontrell Hamilton got killed. He saw something. And more than likely, when it got colder, probably went somewhere for shelter to get warmer. And that's why Marquette took me over by the church, so that I wouldn't happen to wander off somewhere where they were doing something they didn't have any business, or where they would wait for people. It would happen to be raining. But I go to the church where the pastor was in the room, a priest, whatever she is. I said, that is such a disgrace, because she liked it. They like that nasty sex, sadist stuff. And I want people to know I don't practice Satanism. The young man showed me what they do and blessed me off. Every group that meant something in religion, I could say gave me a blessing off. They are so tired of these people. They didn't. The stuff they were doing had nothing to do with the sick stuff they were doing, and that's what they wanted people to know. They don't take the virginity of the young. They don't have them bleed out so they can watch it. And a lot of the stuff they do is in reference to Saw 4, Hostel, those movies. These are movies most people don't watch. It's hard to follow if you don't understand. You got to be kind of real technical, and you got to be real detailed in order to get the movie. And for me, I had to watch it a couple of times to understand exactly what's going on, because otherwise you won't. And this is what they tried to mimic in these older buildings, these warehouses. When Rick brought that up to me at Groman Towers, and he was laughing, I said the only person that would know Hostel on that level is if they saw the movie, understood it, and tried to mimic it. That's why when I saw his social media, I blocked it. I said, okay, now we see where this is going. That's where the main mind game's going, because in the movie Saw, and that's what Patty looks like, and it's a different Patty, not Patty of Waukesha, but they are related. That I didn't know. She has a polio. It appears in one leg, and the pig nose. That's who stole my luggage. So that's how that comment initially got started. It's actually an officer that's doing the killing, and it's two that's doing it. And they're going at each other. They got hidden doors and all kinds of crazy stuff. So he thought it was funny. And I knew what he was talking about. And that's how they got caught. Because I knew exactly what he was talking about. And I understood what he was saying. For most, if you don't understand the movie, you just think it's a scary movie. No, the hell it is not. That's why I was trying to explain most things you see with movies and TV and film and stuff like that has some sort of base of reality. It had to come from somewhere for them to get the idea. That doesn't mean the actual idea of what they produce is true. It just meant it came from somewhere. And that's what they're doing. They're mimicking that weird stuff. And they do it to black people, minorities, the disabled, especially the disabled. And it really started with Lee Holloway. If you go back, that's how the Atlanta child murders started happening. And people didn't realize that it was all connected. It's all the same people, all the same bloodline doing that. That's why it's like I really would want to talk to Wayne Williams to know who trained him. He said the CIA did. You know what? I believe him, and I'm going to tell you why. At some point, when they started to study black inner city kids to find out why they could not learn, some of them decided to help them along, and I was one of them. They pulled me out for several reasons. They kind of went hands on to see if they could learn and teach them different things, not to harm people, but to see, like, for me, they taught me etiquette because I was a different breed. I was just going to put it like that. So they taught me religion, how to properly walk, how to eat. But the thing was, I had a curve in my spine. I ended up getting my back fixed. So that's why I had an issue with walking with a book on my head. They made me do that young. I had to learn how to where each fork, knife would go, where the glass would go, how to hold the glass, how to hold my fork, all that young. So how do I pronounce? Kimberg made sure I knew that young. So they would tease me about the way I would eat. Say when you pick over your food, no, you're not supposed to put a whole bunch of food on your fork. So now I'm getting off track. Let me move it back. But with that being said, and that's why they kind of had me to go through all that process and come back. So that's pretty much what that's about. Now, the cab drivers, they're terrorists. It's Dr. Khan is a terrorist cell. And like I said, they was looking for the Muslim hair, found it, and they still doing stuff they're not supposed to. Along with Dr. Y, out at ProCare, it's some freighter doctors, all of Pro Health, all of them. That's where the Chinese people come from because I end up coming across Dr. Lee. This is when I needed to have surgery. It was due to the medications I was taking. It started, how could I explain it so everybody could understand? What Dr. Razak did, and this is why they kept doing the study of diabetes. They're taking it somewhere else. It's not really about solving the problem of diabetics. The one gland that affects behavior is what they're trying to control because they want to be the only ones on earth. They learned that if they produce certain medications, it would build in the system. And with that, they would have to remove the gallbladder, which affects every organ of the system, little that people know. The gallbladder initially affects the digestive system and the intestine system. Basically what happens is, for I'll say most, if you have your gallbladder removed, you can't eat a lot of oily stuff. And this is what El Rey's tried to do. And that's how I knew Alfonso Morales was involved. That's not the reason why it happened, though, so I'm going to run that back. I ordered an egg dish at El Rey's. They poured oil in it. I knew what that was about, so I'm going to explain why they would do it. When a patient has the gallbladder removed, it affects the digestive tract. The system has a body shot, and you have to learn how to reprocess your food. So you have to eat a lot of bland stuff. I like bland stuff because I don't like the salt. I don't like real sugary stuff because I'm trying to watch my diet. I'm trying to get rid of the pot belly, the baby fat. So in order for me to do that, I kind of limit the stuff that I eat. Um, with that being said, for most, if you start eating real oily stuff, you're gonna you're gonna go to the bathroom a lot. It'll go right through you. Another thing is it affects how you use the bathroom. That's why they limit the water intake in the shelters. That's why they limited the water intake for the homeless, because they're trying to hold whatever they're providing to them in their system. Um, it's basically black market, organ donation, and genocide. For me, back when that was happening before I got kidnapped, it was the poisons they were giving me that was making stuff go right through me. I could eat something and it'll come right out. Not out in solid, it will be liquidy. I'll just come right out. And I'm like, something is wrong. So I knew I had to clean my system or whatever I was taking. Guess what? Stop. That's when they grabbed the sister like, oh hell no, we killing you off real quick. So this is why Mother Farrakhan started selling off the Muslims. Even the Pakistanis learned that, hey, wait a minute, they coming after us now. Our diet. Lots of fruit. The Africans, the ones that eat the way you're supposed to. Back in the biblical days, it was a lot of fruits. You would eat meats. You're not eating sugars. You're not having salts. The way, if you go back to the biblical days, the digestive system goes back to the way it was designed to do, whether you remove the gallbladder or not. So once they came out with Louis Farrakhan came out with a diet that you're supposed to have. There's another guy in Africa or Jamaica that came out with a diet. Then you have Dick Gregory with the shakes. These prejudiced white people came. I was talking to a gentleman at the police station. Hey, they kind of got me off the Muhammad's. And I was telling him eat a lot of fruits. He was telling me about the diabetic, being diabetic and something high in sodium. And basically, it's in the Bible. Everything is in the Bible. I always told my kids, if you want to know something, read the damn book. Because that's what they taught me when I was younger. So, basically, that's what it was. And unfortunately, evil people learn that when people are healthy, they are high priced, good to sell. So basically, that's what that was. That's why Diane Knipple at MSOE wanted me gone. She also had me, they passed me around. And I'm so glad they were stupid enough to allow every doctor in from Wisconsin to Alabama to see who I was, because now they cannot deny it. They cannot deny it that they had me against my will. There is no way I would have donated my body to science. No way. Especially if I'm asking, where is my home? I said, oh, clearly they look real stupid by now. So basically that's what they did. It was Mother Farrakhan. I call her Mother Farrakhan so people know who I'm talking about. Her name is Khadijah. I believe she did that because she was looking for something from Malcolm X, Book of Enoch, Martin Luther King, probably another portion of the Book of Enoch, maybe some ledgers or something. I don't know. She went after everybody. It's always something in her name. Is somewhere in the far front. Her. Hilton and them. They done been from California. Even the guy hiding in the shelter Mr. Buddy, those fake Masons, down in Birmingham, they used Floyd. And I'm going to tell you why. Floyd was one of the kids that made it out, got rich, learned how to eat, and his demise was what he's living with. And they knew how to get Floyd, break us up as best friends, because they knew I wouldn't allow that to happen. And Floyd knew he was doing something wrong because he hid it from me. It wasn't about Floyd being gay. Because if he would have told me, he knew in his heart I could accept that, and I wouldn't have told a soul. It was what he was doing to his own people and himself that got him in trouble. So, with that being said, that's pretty much what they did and are doing. They're not gods. They're not supposed to play with people's lives. They're not supposed to sell someone's baby. And you're not even supposed to touch another Muslim woman's babies. That's why the Pakistanians always deliver my babies. I might have a midwife that may assist, but there was always someone Pakistani in there to make sure the delivery went through and the baby was safe and fine and I'm healthy. So, Dr. Razak is the one in that whole little ProCare situation, and Dr. Khan that betrayed people. There is no way he could go back home knowing that they were sleeping with little boys and men and girls and all these other things. And that's pretty much what President Trump is guilty of, along with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And some more representatives in the House. That one that lived off Kilborn know what I'm talking about. I can't think of his name, but that's him.